If you're new to this channel, my name is Chase Sanborn and I'm a jazz trumpet player based in Toronto. I mainly post educational and sometimes editorial videos about playing music, especially jazz. But now and then a company will reach out to me with an offer to review a product that they think might be of interest to my audience. That's the case with this one. It's a wireless microphone system designed specifically for trumpet and saxophone from a company called Xvive. For a trumpet player like me, there are advantages and disadvantages to a wireless mic that attaches to the horn. You're not tied down to one location on the stage, you don't always have to be pointing in the same direction, and the feed to the soundboard is consistent with excellent separation from the other instruments. It's super easy to transport, and you don't need to set up a mic stand, which is often in conflict with a music stand. Plus, you don't have to run a cable to the board. On the downside, I have to take the microphone off every time I put the horn down on the stand, and I have to switch the mic when I switch to flugelhorn. Having the mic on the bell also makes it more difficult to work with mutes, and I lose the ability to vary my distance to the microphone depending on how much of my trumpet I want going into the mix. If you're playing in a horn section or in a loud band, I think the advantages of a clip-on mic outweigh the disadvantages. If you're playing in a small jazz group, which is most of what I do these days, the logistics are more of an issue, although the most important thing is the sound quality. And I have to say on that score, the U7 is very impressive. There is one aspect of it that can be an issue, although I think it's something you'd encounter with any clip-on mic, and I'll talk more about that during the demos. The system comes packaged in a compact case that holds all the components. That includes the microphone and the wireless transmitter that both clip onto the bell, and a wireless receiver with an XLR connection. Both the transmitter and the receiver are rechargeable, and it comes with a pretty handy dual USB-C cable so you can charge both of them simultaneously from a single outlet. The microphone is on a short gooseneck, which is quite flexible, and it stays where you put it, with enough extension for a Harmon mute. It comes with both foam and fur windscreens, sometimes called a dead cat, at the risk of offending feline aficionados. The soft rubber clip attaches easily and securely to the lip of the bell, and it tucks the transmitter out of the way. Altogether, they weigh about 75 grams. Now, that's actually less than most mutes, so I can feel the weight on the bell, but it's not very significant. The system operates on a 2.4 gigahertz band with 6 channels. It came out of the box with the transmitter and the receiver set to the same channel, so all I had to do was charge them and turn them both on, and it was good to go. When I connected the receiver to my digital recorder, it recognized it right away, and there's plenty of gain with no perceptible noise. The company says the battery life is 5 hours, so that should get you through most gigs, especially if you turn it off on the brakes. The transmission range is stated to be 90 feet. Now, I didn't test that, but here's a sample of a recording that I made while I was sitting in another room in my house. There's no video for this one because the audio recorder is in this room with the camera, and it's kind of wild to me how good this sounds considering how easy it was to do. Back here in my studio, I put the sound quality to the test by comparing the U7 to a Royer R10 ribbon microphone. That is really not a fair comparison because the Royer is several times the price and obviously it has no wireless capability. But I've got to say when it comes to sound quality, the U7 holds its own, and you may be hard-pressed to hear the difference, especially if you're not using good headphones or speakers. Let me know in the comments what kind of equipment you're listening on. I recorded demos on trumpet, flugelhorn, and Harmon mute, with and without backing tracks. We'll start by soloing the trumpet, and you should be able to hear the issue with the U7. So did you hear all the valve noise that the U7 is picking up? It's one reason why you wouldn't use a wireless mic in the studio, I assume also with the possibility of electrical interference. I wondered whether it's because of the physical transmission or just because the microphone is so close to the valves. So I tested that by recording just the valves with the microphone not attached to the bell, but the same distance away. As I hope you could hear, there's a massive difference when the microphone is not clipped to the bell. It's about 15 decibels on my meters. So a lot of the sound transmission is a result of the physical connection to the instrument. But in any case, once I add a backing track, the valve noise is almost inaudible as it would be on a live performance. For the next demo, I'll switch to flugelhorn. For whatever reason, the valve noise is a little less prominent on the flugel than it is on the trumpet. Now maybe that's because of the bigger bell. I did listen to the two sets of valves, and I can't hear a substantial difference in volume, but the tone quality is different, just like the tone quality of the horns. I found that kind of interesting, and it may be a factor in why the sound of the valves doesn't stick out quite as much on the flugel. When you use a Harmon mute on the trumpet, you want it very close to the mic to get the full body of the sound. That's a given with the U7. In the other demos, the Royer is about 12 to 16 inches away, but on this one, it's probably about 6 inches. And at that distance, you start to hear the valve noise just like on the U7. So there's less of a difference on that score, but I hear the greatest difference in tone quality on the Harmon, and I'll talk more about that after the demo. So as you can probably tell, I'm quite impressed with the Xvive U7. The form factor is essentially perfect. I can't find any flaws with the design or construction. The sound quality is much closer to the Royer than I expected it would be. I assume that's a testament to the quality of the microphone and also the degree to which it's been optimized for a horn. As I said, I hear the biggest difference on the Harmon. The Royer sounds more accurate and lifelike. In general, the Royer gives more of a sense of the space that you're in. If you've ever been in a recording studio, you know what I'm talking about. It's almost like you can breathe the air that you're hearing. You can hear that most clearly in the opening of the Harmon mute clip. When I switch from the Royer to the U7, you lose some of that sense of the room. As far as the valve noise, I think in most situations in which you'd use a clip-on mic, you won't hear it. If you wanted to use it in a situation like this where it might be an issue, then you'd have the option of clipping it onto something else rather than the bell. The U7 mic is optimized for a close position, and my guess is that if you put it as far away as the Royer was in the first two clips, then you'd hear more of a difference. I didn't test that because it's not what the U7 is designed for, but if you were going to use it as a stand-mounted mic, you'd probably want to be pretty close to it. The U7 is advertised as designed for saxophone and trumpet, but I see no reason why it wouldn't work on any brass instrument. It's obviously designed for live performance, but Xvive also pitches it to content creators like myself. Now, given that I make my videos in a controlled environment, I don't see a use case for the U7 here, but I'm picturing a scenario where someone might want to film outside. With a wireless lav mic for your voice and the U7 on the horn going into a portable digital recorder, you could make fantastic sounding videos out in the forest or wherever.